Hello and welcome to episode 41 of the Championship Rounds podcast. Been a lot of midweek boxing this week, so we'll get right in. Kenshiro Taraj against Saigo Yuri Akui this morning. One of the best fights this year so far, probably leading the way, the fight of the year. One of the best flyweight fights I've ever watched. Yeah, just an unbelievable fight.
And a comeback that he needed as well because he was down.
He
Yeah,
was down. Even if Kui made it to the end, I think it would have been a majority draw.
Yeah, he needed a knockdown to win that fight. He might have got it.
I think how people were saying with the early stoppage, I feel like he might have got it anyway. But
He probably would have.
he still
I
had
don't
another
see.
90 seconds.
I don't see how he's not going down. I mean, he collapsed after the fight.
Yeah, I think
He's definitely going down.
He probably would have went down at least one time.
And I mean, I thought it wasn't a good stoppage at first, but it was. I think it definitely was.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't see. Yeah, you can't see how he reacts after the fight, and with his lip split as well, and think that it's not. It's a bad stoppage.
but ultimately, from the angle that the camera was showing, we couldn't see Akui's face at the time. We couldn't see what he was doing. Like, he wasn't throwing any punches that whole round. I think he threw about 2 punches that entire round, and then
I think he gave his best in the 11th round. Like he gave all he could at the end of the 11th round.
Yeah. And then he's like not throwing punches. He's getting pinged about. He's getting hit clean over and over again. The ref steps in, and then after the fight, he collapses. So it's a good stoppage. Live watching from one angle, you can sort of say, well, maybe it's bad, but with the context of what happened after, and yeah, that was fine. I don't really see it as controversial. That was a good stoppage.
It was good, and you can't name a fight where their lip is hanging and it's split, and you have to get stitches to put it back together, and the fight continues. Like a Jared Hurd when he fought Resendiz, the cut stoppage. Munguia versus Turiana, you can't continue after your lips like that, regardless if he was hurt or not.
Well, I mean, he fought a really good fight.
He did.
Yeah, he was way better than he's ever 3, 4, 5 times good as he's ever been.
I mean, you could tell the difference in size and strength, and you could tell that it was really bothering Kenshiro. Because I mean, look at Akui. I mean, he's massive.
You see his back. It was
Akui was having no trouble pushing Kenshiro around. Kenshiro had to work pretty hard to move Akui. But luckily, Kenshiro has a ridiculous gas tank. I mean, his stamina is insane, and he doesn't slow down.
Yeah, his stamina is some of the best I've seen ever, probably.
I mean, look, hold on a sec. I thought that he would do better boxing, but he didn't. I mean, I know if he boxes, Akui can fight his own fight, but I thought he'd be more effective. But it's completely the opposite. I mean, he needed to push Akui back because that was when he had his best success. Because, yeah, I mean, he did. Like Tucker said, I mean, he did just kept getting countered with the right hand.
He was a magnet to that right hand. And Kenshiro abandoning I feel like he didn't throw half the body punches he usually does.
I mean, he didn't want to get countered. I mean, he was going to get countered anyway. But if he's jabbing to the body or throwing a right hand to the body, getting countered is even worse.
Yeah, that's Akui's best shot, the straight right hand over the top of a sort of slow jab or a left hand coming back, and that's his best shot. He times it really well. But I think with Kenshiro's stamina, a lot of it is he's got a very the way he throws punches is like really really efficient. There's no waste on it. There's no sort of loading up really. It's just really really efficient. There's no wasted movement. Like he doesn't load up very much. He does when he's got someone going, but like not loads. And like, yeah, his just stamina is ridiculous. Like I think Akui did a really really good job of like it was the right hand over the top. It stopped Kenshiro's jab, and like that's the way to you drag Kenshiro into a wall. You take away his jab, and that's what happened. But ultimately, Akui was working so hard, and then that's what caught up. That's what caught up with him. Like Akui, I think in the like 7th or 8th round, I was like, yeah, Akui's like he's still really competitive, but like he's slowed down a little bit, and Kenshiro's up in the volume. I think it was the 6th round. Kenshiro threw like a ridiculous amount of punches, and from that point on, like, don't get me wrong, Akui still won a lot of rounds, but it was sort of, I don't know. From that point on, I didn't think Akui could stop him. It was just such a good fight, man. It was. I don't remember the ref even having to get involved. Like they just stood at mid range and just beat the hell out of each other, man.
Yeah, you probably count on one hand how many clinches they had.
What a fight!
And they were late as well.
Yeah, they're like in the last like 2 or 3 rounds. I really wish there's copy box stats for the fight. They had to have combined to throw. I mean, it's like 1,600 punches at the minimum, probably.
It was just insane.
Well, I think Akui being like tight of the weight so big, that helped. I mean, he might not have got stopped if he wasn't so tight of the weight. I don't think. But then again, maybe his lip goes anyway.
Well, it seems like they're both tied the weight because they're both saying that they're both done with flyweight. So,
Look, man, I'm gonna be honest. Akui might be different, but Kenshiro has no business being a super flyweight.
yeah, no.
Like, he can go up there and like beat some guys.
But you know who Kenshiro is. He'll want to fight the best, and he should not do that.
Because if he goes into the ring with Bam Rodriguez, he's going to die. If he goes in the ring with a Puma, he's going to die.
Imagine Martinez loading up and not caring at all what's coming back towards him. With someone who hits harder, who's more just durable.
Ioka beats him. Quadros beats him.
Yes. I don't even know if it's like Akui is just a big dude anyway, but I don't even know if it'll be like just a size issue. It'll just be like you take too much. You take way too much punishment.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair to say he's just a life and death match, and it doesn't matter the weight. Because I mean, we've seen it so many times. Less trained at flyweight, and he's still going life and death.
And it's like, in both he's had 2 like all-time great fights with all the punches he took in those. In between all the fights where even if he won most of the rounds, he's still getting hit with a load of punches from Olascuaga, Butler, like everyone in between. You're still getting hurt. You're still getting dropped. You're still getting hit with clean right hands constantly.
Even
like you literally cannot take that like anymore.
Even Kyoguchi, that fight, we'll get onto him later, but the first it was the 4th or 5th, the first round.
It was the 5th.
Yeah, the 5th. He took a hell of a lot of punches in that round. After, like, he got hurt bad at the end of that round. I was rewatching that the other day. Like, he punched himself out and was getting beat on for the last sort of 30 seconds of that round.
You said with like Olascuaga, you could probably say he won all but one round in the fight. He took a hell of a lot of punches in this fight. Butler, he probably won every round. Still was getting pieced up.
Yeah,
He
it's just
doesn't
that
move his head, and it's just he can't. He can't get hit by people who hit as hard as, like, hard and clean as Bam and Martinez. He can't do that. He won't be able to take it.
and they won't get worn down. Like they won't get worn down by his punches. Like
And they have like I'm trying to think, like, Kenshiro has like elite stamina. I would say not many people have pushed like Bam to show that level of like volume. I would say he probably would have that greater stamina. Martinez obviously has crazy volume. He his chin wouldn't be able to take certain punches from them two specifically. Who is probably who'd he be targeting to fight?
Yeah, he doesn't like well, maybe not. I mean, he doesn't seem to like WBO and IBF belts, so he definitely be going for Bam, which is the worst one.
Bam or Martinez. So
Like it wouldn't be competitive.
it wouldn't. I was trying to think maybe it would be like fun, or it would be like
It wouldn't be fun.
for a little
Fight with
bit. It
Bam,
just wouldn't. It just
no,
wouldn't.
it wouldn't. He's getting dominated.
He's. I don't want to see it. Yeah, he's been stopped on his feet. He's been dropped. I don't want to see him get chinned.
He's getting stopped in that fight, and he's getting stopped early.
I don't think it will happen.
I like get why he would do it. I don't want to see. I already know it's already like a foregone conclusion, like what would happen, and I don't want to see it. It's like weird. He's not a fighter you would think is like on the verge of retirement, but he kind of has to. You kind of have to think about that because he's taken so many punches.
He's 33.
I know he's
so
not
many
like young
fights.
either, but like
There's so many fights at flyweight for him. I mean, he's not even a big. I mean, he was out undersized against Akui.
Undersized against Rosales as well.
Yeah, he was undersized against Rosales. But apparently he has such a massive size advantage against these light flyweights, even though he's undersized against flyweight.
I just don't think he wants to rematch the two dudes with the other belts. He's probably like, he's probably like I already stopped him. I don't have to fight him again. I get that. I wouldn't really care to see him fight Olascuaga again, but Ibuki's intriguing.
Ayala's there as well.
Yeah.
Like Ibuki's got to get for Ayala.
Yeah.
Well, there's fights there.
But he's not going to take
You can cut out your fire.
I didn't even think about that.
Well, he's going to fight at Chihuahua.
But the winner of that fight, like, it's just... He's 33. I've got a sneaky feeling here that was the last one you'll get from Kenshiro. That's going to be the last great performance or good world level performance you're going to get. I just got a sneaky feeling that he's going to be.
Yeah, he's either going to fight someone and be really bad and win, or he's going to fight someone and get chinned. And it's just not going to look good.
Yeah,
I think he'll be fine. I mean, with the guys at flyweight, at least he'll be fine.
Yeah, but he's not going to be a flyweight anymore. I hope he thinks about it and stays there, but he probably is going to move up.
I hope Honda tells him to stay.
I'm not entertaining him at super flyweight.
I don't want to entertain that either. I would rather him retire than move up.
Like, you just got to flyweight. After 7 million years at light flyweight, you're going to move up after 2 fights. After going life and death with Akui. Nobody. I mean, well, in this case, I think it was more Akui taking away like his jab as much as he did. I mean, the jab was still good, but it wasn't as effective at keeping the range. That Akui was probably the reason he went life and death rather than him having no choice. Which I give his credit to Akui.
I think Akui is just put up a career performance. He might not have a performance that great again after the punishment he also took.
There's one thing that, well, one fight for Kenshiro that nobody's actually mentioned, or I haven't seen mentioned. Like, would anyone be opposed to a rematch?
No.
Like,
But I think Akui might be opposed to a rematch. He wants to move up.
well, yeah, they both do. They both do. So, yeah. But I don't know.
I mean, I'd watch a rematch.
I'd watch a rematch. I hope Akui's okay, because that didn't look good at the end. He looked all over the place. I hope he's okay.
Hopefully just exhaustion, maybe a bit of dehydration, both.
Like you said though, that jab being taken away, it was not necessarily the first jab. It was the second, third, fourth. Like Kenshiro, the way Kenshiro fights, just literally just spamming out jabs 5, 6, 7 in a row at times. He could only get off one because Akui was nailing him every single time, and even if it was hitting a shoulder, even if it was hitting slightly around the back, every single time he threw that jab, it was just the right hand over the top, and that's his best shot. And it just forced Kenshiro to go life and death with him. It was such a good fight, man. Like genuinely, that's one of the best fights this year. That's probably the best fight this year.
Yeah, I think it is. And it had like numerous round of the year contenders.
Yeah, round 7 in particular. They probably combined 215 punches.
How did you have it scored?
Well, I mean, I had Kenshiro up 6-5. Most people seem to have Akui up.
I was like Kenshiro winning live, and I rewatched it a couple hours ago, and then flipped a couple rounds, and Akui, I had it 6-5 Akui.
Yeah, but it's in that type of range, 6-5 either way. I think yeah, that's fair. Man.
But I haven't rewatched it. Well, I have posted it. Anyone want to watch it? It's on my YouTube channel.
The cards that the official cards were probably the only good cards of the night. To be honest, yeah, what a fight, man! What's a fight? I hope they both stay at 112.
Specifically, Kenshiro.
I probably would like Akui to move up.
He's huge.
Why? I mean, he must have weighed in the high 120s in that fight. I mean, come on. He's just big.
Yeah, he's probably like a feather.
Who is there at Super 5, right? Suzumi Takayama, Kazuo Kosei Tanaka. That's good.
Yeah, there's loads of fights.
Kosei Tanaka.
Yeah.
Against Saigo Yuri Akui.
List again.
That's a good fight. Even Tanaka against Kenshiro. That sort of. There's good fights there. That sort of. Yeah. There's fights, man, but like. I don't know. Kenshiro gets stopped by Alpi if he steps up against the top two at 115 and probably against Ioka as well.
Well, he can beat Cafu.
Definitely.
I'll give him that.
He'll beat both the
he'll definitely
Mexicans.
beat both of them.
Yeah, well, just give him the IBF shot then. I guess. Sure. Let him be a 3 division champion. against one of them.
They won't. He's never won an IBF belt. They won't give him
Like
anything like that.
green, gold, and black and gold.
Well, yeah, it makes sense.
They are pretty belts.
Traditional ones that they couldn't win before 2013.
He's a weird fighter, Kenshiro. I think, just speaking from an all-time sort of sense, like, I don't know. I think a lot of the light flyweight run sort of holds him back. He spent a lot of time treading water there. Like, I don't know. If he could have got the Alvarado unification when that was first talked about, if he could have got the Bomber unification, like if both those fights happen, or even if one of them happens, like the Alvarado fight's the fight we missed out on, I think. That if he beats Alvarado in 2019 or 2020 or whatever it was, like, I think he doesn't lose to Ibuki and his career takes a whole different sort of path. Like, not that it's been bad, but I think he gets a huge push after that because I think he definitely gets the WBO shot. He gets the Soto fight, for example, or someone like that. He becomes undisputed. Then he moves up to fly, and he's in that flyweight era with sort of Sonny Edwards, with Junto, with Martinez, and I think probably a couple of those fights happen as well. But he just spent a lot of time treading water, and that's sort of frustrating. And now he's sort of breaking into the sort of pound for pound debate and the top level fighter debate, and he's 33, and he's slightly on the downward slope, I think.
Well, in his defense, I mean, he did like cement himself as a top 10 light flyweight ever.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he had a very good run. Even if he was going life and death with these guys, I mean, like, he still beat them. Arguably, except Canizales.
That was close, Canizales. I rewatched that and scored it a draw.
Yeah, so it's hard.
Like,
I had it a draw live, and then when I rescored it, I had Canizales winning.
Man, he's had so many good fights, hasn't he?
Too many, probably. That's the problem. Yeah, he probably doesn't have more than 5 fights left in his career.
That's why I say like that. I think that's the last one. That's the last really, really good performance because you just can't keep doing that at his age against bigger guys. But anyway, yeah. What a fight, and what a show, because the other two fights were really weird. Hiroto Kyoguchi against Anthony Olascuaga. Yeah, we sort of all got this wrong. Kyoguchi boxed a really, really good fight. He was composed. He was picking his moments. He wasn't engaging as much as pretty much everyone thought he would be. And he seemingly boxes to a pretty routine decision win. And then...
Yeah, to anyone with eyes, he boxed and won that fight.
Olascuaga was slow, he was ponderous, he didn't know what to do. Olascuaga's got an issue where he can't punch when he's moving. And Kyoguchi figured that out pretty early. And kept turning him and kept getting in and out. And Olascuaga looked pretty terrible, for being honest. And then somehow he gets a bullshit knockdown call in the 11th or the 10th or whatever it was. I think it was the 11th. Absolutely not a knockdown, it was a slip. How you can check the ringside cameras as well, because that's what they did. Between rounds, it was like, oh yeah, the commission's confirmed that it was a knockdown. It absolutely wasn't. And then two of the worst cards I've ever seen. And Olascuaga somehow wins a UD.
Not
It's
just any,
ridiculous. Like, what?
not just any UD. The UD were apparently on 2 cards. He didn't win more than 3 rounds, or he clearly won at least like 8.
It's just, I'm dumbfounded.
Yeah, so was Olascuaga in the ring. I mean, he tried everything, and nothing worked for him. I mean, he tried like 4 different ways of getting anything going. Couldn't really get anything going.
It seemed at the end he just kind of gave up. I thought he was gonna. I had already conceded to the fact that Kyoguchi about to be a 3-weight world champion. I was like, oh, okay, I got my prediction wrong. That's unfortunate for like my prediction, but good for him. And then he gets it anyway. But when it seems he gave up halfway through the fight, I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, like even when they were like slugging it out, you'd think, oh yeah, this favors Olascuaga, but no, he wasn't even winning at that aspect. Then you just were just okay, he's not doing well with that aspect. I mean, how the hell is he gonna win this fight? He's not gonna box. I mean, he tried to box, but didn't really work.
He wouldn't punch. He wouldn't like Tucker said. He doesn't he doesn't punch when he's moving. So you just like going in circles, stopping, punching, missing, and then moving again, and you don't get points for that. But apparently you do. So
a jab here and there, it's not gonna cut it, buddy. You gotta do more.
Look, man.
If you're boxing, you just gotta continuously stick out the jab.
When Olascuaga goes into a corner, beckons Kyoguchi in, and stands there with his hands loaded up, like ready to just wing a massive hook in, and you know he's losing the fight, and you know he's frustrated. So he kept doing that. He kept dropping his hands and going back to the ropes and inviting him in. And Kyoguchi was just like, "Yeah, I'm not stupid."
Yeah, I have been stupid in the past, but I'm not going to be stupid today.
I generally think he could have just been what we're calling stupid, and he still would have like the way how bad Olascuaga looked. He could have probably went and did his game plan and still won the fight.
Yeah, I mean, he could have been a bit more, like a few more risks. I guess. I mean, he would have still won.
I was gonna say it wouldn't have mattered
because even when he took the risks, I mean, he was getting the better of the action. I mean, he could have missed with his left hand. Any left hand he threw, could have missed with it.
It seemed like 2 judges filled the card in before the fight started, because there's literally no arguable way that he won 2 or 3 rounds. That there's
they were like, Olascuaga just got hit with a clean left hook. Oh yeah, let's give him the round.
So there's the 118-109 card, yeah?
Oh my God.
The 118-109, that's 10-2. There is more of an argument for Kyoguchi winning 118-109 than there is for Olascuaga winning the fight. There's more argument for that.
Because
it's ridiculous.
Kyoguchi won like in between 7 to 9 rounds.
I gave Olascuaga. Well, it's confusing. I gave Olascuaga 4 rounds, and the reason I gave him 4 rounds was because you have to give him the 11th because the ref called a knockdown, even though it blatantly wasn't. The ref doesn't call a knockdown there. It's clearly a Kyoguchi round.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a bad robbery, man. It is a robbery. It wasn't even in the territory of, oh yeah, it's close and it could have gone either way and whatever. No, it was just a blatant robbery. It was not yeah. You can't give Olascuaga that fight.
There's literally no argument for a draw or him winning the fight.
Yeah, even with the knockdown, there's no argument him winning the fight.
You could literally have added 3 more knockdowns, and no.
It's terrible, man. It's terrible. And like this is the frustrating thing, because Kenshiro can go and fight Olascuaga, and he can knock his head off again. And like, then yeah,
Look, I mean, based on that Olascuaga, he might actually beat him without going life and death this time.
I would pick him to stop him inside like 4 rounds.
man.
Like, no game plan. And what was his game plan? Rudy and Anna have some sort of game plan.
I'll tell you what his game plan was. His game plan was Kyoguchi's going to come and stand right in front of us, and we're both going to square up, and I'm going to trust my power, size, and strength more than his. That was the game plan. And then Kyoguchi doesn't do that, and then it's like, what do? I can't move my feet. I can't punch when I'm moving. He's boxing rings around me, and I don't know what to do. And that's what it was.
I guess in his defense, I guess he prepared for a Kyoguchi that everyone knows, and nobody got that.
Yeah, it's basics of boxing, man.
That's where your brain has to come in, or your trainer has to come in and tell you how to do it. But I guess he just can't. I guess he's not going to be that style. He just can't do it unless he gets a gift, which he did.
I seen tacos you said on Twitter, like his resume looks like good on paper now that he has like a TKO 1 over Bama Gonzalez and then a wide UD over Kyoguchi. With win context, those wins.
And the TKO over Magramo as well. That's a good win.
In which he won maybe 2 rounds of that up until then.
Yeah. And got a lucky stoppage, I thought, as well.
He has 10 fights and there's asterisks on like half of them. Like,
and even asterisks in his favor.
Yeah, he's not a great champion. He's one of the weaker ones for sure.
Well, I'm gonna go give him credit. We go give him credit for fighting these guys in the amount of fights he has.
Yeah, it just he just hasn't looked good. Like great. Like he's looked good against Kenshiro. Got stopped. He in the 1 round he fought Bamba and he didn't really look good in that round. And then he lost damn near every round of the Kyoguchi fight. So,
well, these are good fighters.
Yeah.
Kyoguchi's so unlucky.
Yes, he is.
He has multiple robberies.
What does he have against them? They just hate him. Like, he should have been the most recent 3 division world champion right now. But no, I guess not.
That was so bad. That was so bad. Moving on. Shikichi.
He's horrible. I'm not gonna lie. He's not a good fighter.
I can't remember what episode I said it. It might have been the preview. It might have been his last fight. It might have been the rankings episode. But I've repeatedly called him a big stiff idiot. And that's exactly what he is.
I don't think he knows. No one must have told him how to cut, like what cutting a ring like is. I don't think he knows that's a thing.
It's even worse because I mean he was actually doing. He looked okay from like 3 to 5 or something, 6. Like, he was kind of cutting the ring off and breaking him down, and he just fell off a cliff. He's such a front runner. I mean, once it gets past like the 5th or 6th round, he just becomes so bad.
He thinks if he touches you, you're gonna go to sleep, and it just doesn't work like that all the time. So that's how he fights. He just fights like a caveman. Like I punch, you go down. Like you can't fight like that every time.
Yeah, what I'm hearing is he's the light flyweight Zhang, just not good.
You can't just walk forward, throw 100% thrown punches like other fighters do. Expect people like he hurt Santiago to the
In the
body.
fifth, you put a dent in him, like properly.
Like he can, you can hurt him, but you're not setting it up. You're just throwing. You're just throwing shit. You can't.
Yeah,
You
I
can't
mean,
expect him to just go down.
I said to Toggers, I said he's forcing his work. Like, you've got loads of rounds, just break him down. What are you doing? It's the fourth round, and you're fighting like it's the 12th round, and you need a knockout.
That's just how he fight. Well, imagine if how the Noriega fight would have went if Noriega just didn't get hurt that.
Yeah, Noriega must be kicking himself. I mean, that's exactly how he fights. And he chose not to fight like that. I mean, maybe he would have won if he gets out the first 4 or 5 rounds. I mean, very good chance of winning.
Shell up for like a couple extra rounds and then just, I guess, just move in circles because then Iwata's not going to be able to stop you from doing it or slow you down at all. He is a front runner, and then he just doesn't know what to do when he realizes you're not going to go to the campus. So,
well, at the very least, we didn't get robbery in this one.
true.
Like,
Even
the
though his
deserved
cards
winner.
look like that.
Yeah, I was just saying,
Yeah,
Iwata did better than win 2 rounds.
I
Had an 8
scored it
Santiago.
7-5, I think.
But yeah, like Santiago clearly won, but it wasn't like Iwata, like how you said, Iwata did good in like the middle part of the fight.
Because I think I gave Santiago like most of the second half of the fight. Maybe round 9, maybe he lost or something. Yeah,
he's
yeah,
one
I
of the
did.
worst champions of the decade. Truly, he
I
was
mean,
horrible.
remember there could have been a world where Kenshiro was let loose once you teach Iwata.
Jesus Christ! So he'd have someone to meet him in the middle, and that just would not go good for him at all.
Well, Kenshiro would box that fight because he'd be allowed.
He'd be allowed, but he probably wouldn't have to. He'd probably just walk him down and shin him. He's not.
Man, like,
Eventually.
Not a fighter.
he doesn't move his head. He was getting pinned with right hand after right hand and was just plodding forward.
It's funny how him and Gervonta in March.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, like
that's what you get for sucking off that bum.
your lifestyles, like your lifestyle was fire.
Jesus Christ.
Now your career's on fire, Kyoguchi. Jesus.
He says he fights like Javante, and yeah.
He's right. Both
Sure.
fight like shit. Like 2 bums. So yeah.
Yeah, at least the most recent Javante, yeah, definitely.
Oh, God, it was so bad. It was like, I don't know, like it annoys me when I see fighters that are getting pinged and they just keep repeating the same stuff. Like, at least do something. You're like, surely they knew he was down. They knew he was losing. Like, just change something. Just do something, man. Like, maybe throw a different shot. Maybe double up a jab. Like, maybe.
No, I'm gonna keep doing the same
I
thing
don't
over
know.
and
Do
over.
something. Because whatever you're doing now, it's just. So
maybe go to the body to stop him moving, so you don't have to cut the ring off.
I don't think I will. I'm gonna keep headhunting.
You know the worst thing that happened in that fight for him? It was hurting him in the 5th round. Because then he was like, "Oh yeah, I can hurt him at any point here. I'm going to keep doing this. I've just hurt him."
Like, if he carried on doing what he was doing, he would have won that fight and probably stopped Santiago. I was like, no, I've got him. I don't need to carry on doing it. Next punch, I land clean, he's going to die. Yep. Well, that's not how it works. Especially at the lower weights.
Instead, Santiago's going to carve your face up. Because you're just plodding forward, no defense.
Yeah, he came back from it was in the early rounds and fought a good fight. I mean, he boxed really well in the second half. Didn't really have to do anything crazy. He just,
I really do not like that Bomba Gonzalez win is aging well.
Yeah, but he's well.
Apparently, he gave him advice to beat Iwata, which is funny.
yeah, get on your bike. He can't go off the ring.
Jesus Christ.
Stick a move.
So bad.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
horrible.
like
If he dropped up all the champions from this decade, he would be in like the bottom 10.
Not the best day for A sides. Except Kenshiro.
No, he didn't have a great time either.
At least he won.
Yeah, no, by the skin of his teeth.
Yeah, Olascuaga got a gift. Iwata lost.
I think I don't know if Taji saw this, but Tsuboi looked good.
No, I didn't even
Yeah.
look up to see Santiago live. I had to rewatch it.
So what they did, like they started the card, and then they were like in the second round. There was like not long left in the second round that they started the fight, and he stopped him pretty much straight away. That they started showing the fight.
Fantastic.
They were showing it for like 20 seconds, and he stopped him.
Jesus Christ.
And a good finish.
Great production.
I don't think they were going to show the fight. Considering it started at 9 o'clock, they can't have been showing the fight, but
They're just giving a
it
time.
was still going, I guess. So they just stuck it on, and he had a second round knockout.
He's gonna be good, man.
Hopefully, you can see him fight.
He's 28, but he's gonna be good. Like with the A-class license stuff, all that.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna get thrown in.
Well, you know that they're gonna probably fast track him, considering he debuted in an 8-rounder.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, yeah, that's just how you know.
He'll be fun. I don't see him as some sort of elite talent like a lot of people do, but I think he'll get fast tracked to a world title. He'll probably win a world title, but he probably won't do a lot elsewhere. Like he won't be some generational kid. Like it'll be very, very short, but very, very fun. But yeah, I really enjoyed this card. It was a very good card. You should watch all the fights if you haven't. Probably apart from Iwata, because I was just like, tearing my hair out.
Well, Iwata, Santiago was more tolerable than the Olascuaga fight. Truly.
Probably.
Like, Iwata was probably pissing you off because he was just not changing anything, but Olascuaga did nothing and was rewarded for doing nothing. So,
yeah, probably.
But
yeah, it was a good try. The main event was ridiculous. But
love you, Kenshiro Taraji. You're the greatest.
You
Top
may
7
be.
pound for pound.
Moving on to going back to Wednesday. Keith Thurman washed as ever. He looked totally shot to pieces, but he was fighting Brock Jarvis, so he won by a third round knockout.
I think he should be embarrassed that he got hurt at all in the fight. I don't care if he can punch. He shouldn't be hurting you when you were a bantamweight like 4 years ago. Jesus Christ.
I just didn't take this fight seriously.
It's not. I don't. That shouldn't be on his pro record. Truly.
Well, in his defense, I mean, it was a good finish.
I guess.
Looking like Keith Thurman of old.
Jesus Christ.
Looking like the Soto
was
Cross finish.
Once upon a time.
Yeah, looking like the Soto Cross finish.
Just a question. Are we sort of? I don't know. I'm convinced that Sam Giddy does exactly the same to Brock Jarvis and probably does it earlier. He's
Well,
that level of like,
he's the magic man, so
yeah, but he wouldn't win the Brit like he's not British title level. He's lower.
I think you need to respect.
He's terrible.
No, I
Yeah, he's not good.
Brock Jarvis. I don't get how he's gotten the opportunity to even do this anyway. But like, how is he this? How is he allowed to be this big, knowing
Because he took
take
2 years
punches?
off and got on the gear.
Like
Allegedly.
you have to be like 5 divisions lower than.
Look, you want to know why he keeps getting these opportunities?
Please tell me.
Because he's a Jeff Fennick's protege. That's why. The only reason why.
Australian boxing has
Didn't
absolutely
get
nothing.
shinned like this.
Yeah, and he's going to continue to get these opportunities.
I can't wait to see Brock Jarvis at super middleweight.
Australian boxing, half the shows are just rugby players in their 40s. That like it's not a good scene. Liam Wilson has been sort of dug up how many times? Isaac Hardman's been dug up and put on pay-per-view how many times? Like you get a load of random Samoans to fight each other. You dig up some rugby players and then you rehash the same decent quote unquote decent amateur about 10 times and you might get someone's son in. That's Australian boxing. It's awful.
I mean, in the defense, there are some good fights. There is quite a few Australian fights in the list.
Like they're good life and deaths, but they're not at any sort of level.
Well, I love a life and death.
Yeah. They are what they are, but like everything on pay-per-view. Like,
well, it's fine for
you have paid?
us. Oh, well, definitely not. Well, it's fine for us, not maybe for us.
Yeah, thank you, Trevor. Thank you, Trevor, and ESPN Knockout for providing some great coverage of that card. But yeah, I know why they've done this fight. So Keith Thurman sort of A has a comeback fight and B gets a win over Australian, and then they're gonna get Tim Tszyu a win over Joey Spencer. And then Tim Tszyu's going to knock out Keith Thurman in the summer, and then Tim Tszyu's back in the title picture. Because make no mistake about it, Keith Thurman is totally shot to pieces. Like, he looked awful. I know he won, but he's shot, man. He's done. He's finished.
Yeah, he's had, 2 fights this decade?
Yeah.
Come on. It's been over. Been once upon a time.
But yeah, it wasn't the greatest show, if we're being honest. It was not the greatest show. Cesar Mateo Tapia got a good win. That was actually a relatively okay fight. Mateo Tapia is not going to trouble world level.
It was the best fight on the card.
Yeah, it was fun. Mateo Tapia won't trouble world level, I don't think. But he'll be fun. He's going to be an action fighter. He's a good little fun undercard fighter. And Michael Zarafis stunk it out until he got a stoppage against a random German. And yeah, Michael Zarafis is not very good. He's boring. Has a terrible style, but he's been dug up about 5 times because it's Australia. And it is what it is. So yeah.
He could have got that stoppage so much earlier.
Yeah, he was happy to sort of just fumble his way through the fight, jab a bit, not really put himself in danger.
That's what he does. I mean, he falls over his punches every time and just clenches. I stop doing that. You stop him way earlier. I picked him to stop him because, come on, look at his opponent. But touch and go for a bit.
Yeah. Anyway, move on to this weekend. There's one probably card of interest across the US and the UK. There's a couple of small hall shows, but the main one is Nick Ball against TJ Doheny. A fight nobody really asked for, nobody really wanted. Nobody's really excited for, if we're being honest. Nick Ball's a fun fighter. Come forward, all out aggression, swings big ups in, hands around his head. But he keeps fighting super bantamweights, half of whom are washed up. And he's doing it again. TJ Doheny is going to get stopped, probably to the body. And then we're going to get Nick Ball stopped him, and Inoue stopped him, and that means Nick Ball's going to stop Inoue from people like Dev Sane, and it's going to be really annoying. It's just, not a good fight.
Yeah, he's somehow gonna go life and death.
He always does, yeah.
He's gonna have a busted nose. There's gonna be blood everywhere, and then he's gonna be like a TKO 11 or something.
I think it'll be earlier.
No, that's not. But it should be earlier. But that's what I'm saying. He's gonna underperform like usual.
Like he'll go life and death, but stop him in like 8 rounds.
I've got a couple of points on this. If this was a super bantamweight fight, I know it's not, I'd give TJ Doheny quite a good chance because of how open Ball is. Like, I can see him sort of stepping off and throwing a sort of looping left hand and like drilling one down the middle and like hurting Ball, but not at featherweight and not at however old he is.
Yeah, because like you look at Doheny and you're like, yeah, sure, we'll give him a puncher chance, but do you give him a puncher chance? I mean, I haven't seen his power hasn't gone up to featherweight. Every time you go to featherweight, there's been no power. Haven't seen any power. I can't even really give him a puncher's chance. I mean, Nick Ball,
he's an elite puncher. What are you talking?
And Nick Ball, I mean, he takes a pretty fine shot. I mean, he has like the build of someone who just takes a great shot. But,
and he's hard to land clean on because he's so small.
He's so small.
Yeah.
And he's so small, but he couldn't even make super bantamweight.
Oh, he can. He can make super bantamweight. The reason he's not a super bantamweight is because Andrew Cain's in the same gym. That's why. That's why he's been a further. Because Andrew Cain's in the same gym. He can make super bantamweight.
They need to flip immediately.
Well, maybe he should go down.
Andrew Cain's gone down. So, like, yeah. But, yeah, Ball will stop him.
Yeah, that's true. Andrew Cain has gone down. He is a bantamweight.
But, yeah, I'm just not excited for this fight. It's quite obvious what's going to happen. Ball's going to ball forward, roll forward. Doheny's going to be able to move around him a little bit in the early rounds, catch him a couple of times. Ball's going to be hitting arms and headbutting and elbowing and doing all the dirty stuff that he does. Then eventually Doheny's going to get hurt by something. Doheny's then going to shut up and take Ball about a round and a half to 2 rounds to finish him off, and it's going to be that.
I don't think it's going to move. I don't think he can. I just think he's just going to sit on the ropes, try and throw here and there, and Ball's just going to be terrible and smother himself, not land much clean, till eventually he does.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe Doheny's back goes again.
Jesus Christ.
Who cares, man? Honestly, like, he's just... Yeah. It's not a good fight. We're all picking Bull by stoppage. I'm just waiting for the Inoue fight, if I'm being honest, because I don't know. You get a lot of people hyping up Nick Bull in this country, and Inoue teeing off on him and brutally stopping him is going to do it a world of good. Because he's not as good as people think he is.
Look, I don't think that's going to change anything. Yeah, if he gets knocked out and stopped by Inoue, they should be like, oh, that's fine. Inoue's a generational talent, one of the best. They're like, he's still world class, still one of the best in the world.
Give it a go.
You just know that's exactly how it's going to go.
What I'll say is, Inoue victim at 122 had no chance against his featherweight champion. Last month, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And now it's happening again. We could see Inoue versus Stephen Fulton and TJ Doheny too.
Let's just not put that in there. Because if TJ Doheny somehow beats Ball, they'll obviously rematch. I don't, bro. Fulton. Oh my god! I need someone to beat him, like to mix the bowl a little bit, because we cannot have that again.
Anyway, yeah. On this undercard, there's I think this is actually an okay fight. Andrew Cain against Charlie Edwards. British and Commonwealth titles at bantamweight. Andrew Cain is just a big, strong power puncher that comes forward. He's very limited, but he's big and he's strong for the weight, and he punches hard.
He's pretty violent, but
yeah, he's a very fun fighter.
But he could get picked off.
Yeah, what? And Charlie Edwards is the sort of slick counter-punching boxer in this fight, and I think the styles will gel really well.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like it'd be a close one to predict. I'm not really sure who I'd sway towards more.
I don't really think Edwards has that much left, to be honest.
Yeah, I worried about him because he looked awful against the Zomba.
Yeah, they didn't do anything. He didn't do anything. I don't really think he has much left. And if Cain makes the weight fine, he's not like super duper drained because he's moving down. Oh, I think Cain's gonna stop Charlie Edwards.
Probably.
Yeah.
Charlie Edwards probably has like a good early rounds, like he boxes, but then he's just gonna get broken down and stop late. I think.
I tend to agree. Although, latest stoppage for Cain was the 6th round, and that was as a result of an eye injury, not a sort of stoppage from knockdowns and that. His previous before that was the 4th. Sorry,
Yeah.
the 5th. I'm lying. It was the Ashley Lane fight. Jesus, I don't know.
Yeah, that's not good, but I just don't think Charlie Edwards has much left.
I agree, but the Baluta fight, like, it's the thing is that they're two quite limited domestic level guys at this point. Like Cain,
and like Baluta, and like Charlie Edwards. I mean, they don't fight anything like each other.
Yeah, he did slow down in the second half.
Yeah, but he's gonna be the one dictating the pace in this fight, and he'll be able to do that. Obviously, Baluta dictate the pace in that fight, and that's why he slowed down. So I mean, if he was like a younger Charlie Edwards, I'd pick Charlie Edwards to outbox Andrew Cain, but not now. Not saying he can't, but maybe he can. But I just don't think he can. Or will, I should say. I don't think he will.
Yeah, I tend to agree. It's weird. It's really weird, this card.
I mean, I don't mind the card. To be honest, I like the undercard fights at least. Some of the undercard fights.
Third fight. But Brad Strand against Baluta. Baluta's beaten. Baluta's beaten TJ Doheny and Andrew Cain.
Yeah, he's beaten
And
numerous.
I think he's going to beat Brad Strand as well.
I don't know how much he has left. To be honest, I don't know how much Baluta has left.
What I'll say about the Dennis McCann rematch. Well, we all know what Dennis McCann's had happened
Yes.
since then. So it's up for the debate. And the first fight, Baluta, I thought won pretty clearly.
Yeah, he did. Like, could he keep pulling off these upsets? He's been doing it for ages.
This wouldn't be an upset. He's the favourite at betting wise. He's a
Yeah,
betting
that's
favourite against Brad Strand.
I did like the quoting thing. You didn't see, obviously, but I did it.
I didn't see. But he is a betting favourite. I think. I don't know. I think Brad Strand is one of these guys that's an amateur boxer that's used to having it all his own way. The only time he hasn't had it all his own way, he crumbled against McCann and lost every round and got dropped. And I just think he's too slow paced. Baluta's going to be on him, all over him. It's going to be really, really messy, and I think Baluta's going to sneak a decision.
Yeah, but are they going to give him the decision? If it's messy, and if he's sneaking a decision,
I don't know.
I think this is one of the harder fights to predict on the card for me.
I agree.
I think I'm going to stick with my initial picking of Strand, but I can definitely see Baluta winning.
I think this will be fight of the night.
It's a good fight, good test for Brad Strand. We'll learn a lot about Brad Strand in this fight.
And look, he's 28 years old. If he's not beating Baluta at 28, you've got to ask yourself, like, what are you doing in the sport?
Well, he can just be at
Domestic
that
level.
British level.
Yeah. It's like if you're not beating Baluta at 28 years old, you're not going to be anything more than a British level guy.
And that's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It is what it is. But in fairness, though, he is coming off 2 stoppage wins over Sam Goodman. So, Yuri Herrera against Jose Macias. Enriquez, you're going to bully me for butchering that name.
That was good.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
That was good.
It's
well,
literally Herrera's
we know how this is going to go, don't we?
Yeah.
I remember Macias. He's been in the list a couple times, which means he's just a typical Mexican fighter.
This is just
look. I mean, look, they can take punches to the head all day.
Won't matter. We get to punch chucked right through his chest. So.
Well, look, maybe he's going to be a head-hunting fella.
It does go to the body.
Yeah, and we see people go to the body, then just sometimes they just be headhunters for whatever reason.
I think he'll be fine. I think we switched.
I think he'll be fine, but it's possible.
It's just a matter of how Mexican Macias is, really, isn't it? he's going to get teed off on.
He's very Mexican from the fights I've seen of him.
Yep. Against Sitanov and Samir Ziani, it's the same thing. It's just quad forward, head on chest. He's probably not going to get the opportunity to do that against Herrera.
he's not a huge lightweight Herrera. Like he's been at super feather, but he is very, very long for the division. And yeah, like he can move his feet. Like,
and he's good.
yeah, he is very good. But yeah, probably a body shot stoppage. I should say.
I mean, it's not. I mean, it's not bad matchmaking actually. To be honest.
Yeah. Herrera's only 22. People forget that, and like he's developing well. He didn't have the sort of long amateur career that a lot of these guys have from Cuba. He's developed a lot in Dubai under the radar. Fought guys like Jeff Afori. But yeah, this is a good test for him. It's a good test. I think he'll win it pretty comfortably. But he needs to be out more. He needs to be more active. Like his last fight was like a 3-round job on the last Nick Ball card, and he's a prospect. He should have been out in December. Yeah, it is what it is, though. He should get through him pretty comfortably.
Yeah, I agree.
And then there's one other notable fight on this card. Jack Turner at super flyweight is fighting Ryan Farrag. Liverpool derby, and I think Jack Turner is going to take his head off because I don't think Farrag has it anymore.
I did predict a Turner by decision, but I wasn't too sure.
I don't know, man. After the Kademi fight, he didn't look that good in.
It is Casey Kademi though, so.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a good step up for Jack Turner. But let's just see.
It was a good fight. Might not be a good fight, but on paper. See, I like this undercard.
Yeah.
We will be there.
Yeah, Frank's going out with a bang.
Like it's weird, man. This whole TNT thing's weird. They'll probably get involved with Tico boxing or the Zupa thing or whatever, but I don't know. When your best offerings on the mainstream television channels now are Wasserman and Boxer putting on all women's cards, like
Those aren't your favorite?
yeah, yeah, I guess. Oh, yeah, it's not looking good. But it is what it is.
It's being shown on the zone outside of the UK, isn't it?
Yeah.
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 Well, that's a good idea. Because obviously, usually, France cards are shown on ESPN Plus. Well, I don't think they have in a while. At least not the smaller ones aren't really shown on ESPN Plus, but most of them are.
Yeah, most of them. This one would have been this world title fight.
Yeah, this one would have been.
The news. The Nui against Rapon Cardenas got announced. Look,
I think I'm done.
The whole thing with Inoue fighting on that date, or fighting in the US, sorry, was to get exposure. He's not going to get exposure because he's fighting on a Sunday against a no-name pro box fighter on a weekend that Canelo, Jaime Munguia, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, and Teofimo Lopez are fighting. So he's not going to get exposure because no one's going to be talking about it. Silly. It's just stupid.
His career has been managed so garbage. It's sad.
It's just stupid. The only good thing about this is Rafael Espinosa's defending his WBO featherweight title against Edward Vasquez on the undercard. I think we talked about this But that's a banger of a fight. That should be really, really fun.
Yeah. Just got announced.
Yeah, that's
a good fight.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Joe Joyce is fighting Hergovich. We talked about that. Hergovich is going to ping him. But now Lawrence Okolie is pulled out of his fight. I wish he'd pulled out of every fight in his entire career because
Big guy.
it's not good. Who knows what's going to happen? Talma's apparently stepping in on the card, but it might not be a big. It's not going to be against Reactpool. Reactpool might not even fight on the card, so who knows? God, yeah, it's just a mess of a show. Frank's first on the zone. It's not looking good.
Good breath.
Kansas Shiraz is moving up to 168. He got battered and now he's blaming the weight again. He did that the last time. But there's one fight that's been announced this week. Don't know if you've seen it. I think this fight is going to change the course of history.
Oh Jesus!
Michael Hunter is fighting Chris Lovejoy.
Nah. All right.
And the winner gets a shot at the Kubrat against Fabio Wardley winner for the WBA regular title. This is boxing at its peak. Fabio Wardley against Kubrat Pulev, the WBA regular heavyweight title. And the winner has to fight Michael Hunter or Chris Lovejoy.
At least you get to see Kubrat Pulev get chinned. Hopefully.
You know what would be the most hilarious thing in that fight?
Something about to say.
Pulev opens up, lands a jab. Yeah. Lands a jab square on Wardley's nose and it sort of just explodes again. And the doctor stops it. But yeah, Wardley's going to chin him. And Wardley's probably going to chin Michael Hunter because Michael Hunter's not fought anybody in years. And he's about 37 now, I think. He's old. And then Wardley's going to get upgraded to a full heavyweight champion. Bit of other news at heavyweight. Parker against Usyk got ordered. So Parker's probably going to get upgraded because apparently Usyk's going to fight Dubois, but who knows because everything's a mess at heavyweight. It would have been so much easier if Dubois against Parker would have just happened, to be honest.
Yeah, it would have.
Yeah, but people are just getting poisoned out there.
So yeah, there's not much other news, I don't think, unless you've got anything.
Nope.
Right, that's good. We'll wrap it up. Yeah, that was episode 41. One of the best flyweight fights of all time happened today. So I'm going to go and rewatch it. But yeah, thank you for listening.
See you in episode 42.